Hello and welcome to Under the Skin, a podcast where we peel back the layers of identity, perception, and what it really means to be human. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into the experience of being the other, to answer one simple question: what makes us human when the world no longer sees us that way? Today I'm joined by two extraordinary guests whose lives, though separated by time and place, still mirror each other in the most powerful way. One is a man who woke one morning to find himself transformed into something grotesque, inhuman, a shell of his former self. The other, a man of flesh and history, whose body bore the weight of deformity, but whose mind and spirit never lost the voice of his soul. Together they step beyond time, space, and form to speak from beneath the surface. Let's take a listen. Gregor, Joseph, the floor is yours.
My name is, or was, Gregor Samsa. I was a traveling salesman day after day, city after city. Every morning I rose before the sun, not for myself, but for them. Then one morning I awoke as something else, something grotesque, something they couldn't bear to look at. I stopped speaking, stopped being seen, but tonight I speak again.
And I am Joseph Merrick. They called me the Elephant Man, but I was a man, still am. I lived beneath stairs and inside silence, but in that silence I learned to listen, to reflect.
Tonight we'll ask, what is the body, if not a prison?
Is identity shaped from within or forced upon us from outside?
Why did I lose my voice?
And why did I choose to keep mine?
What makes us human under the skin? Joseph, you are not like the others, not like the family, not like the clerks. Your form, it's remarkable.
And yours, sir, Gregor, was it? It speaks of a transformation far beyond the mere distortions of flesh and bone, a metamorphosis into something wholly other. I confess, in the world I knew, such a sight would inspire fear, perhaps revulsion. Here is merely a different shape. You know, if you had arrived a few years earlier, Mr. Samsa, we could have made quite the pair in one of the Humanity shows. The Metamorphosis Marvel and the Elephant Man, we would have drawn quite the crowd.
I never considered the theatrical possibilities of my condition. My family mostly just considered the financial inconveniences.
Yes, the practicalities. They often overshadow the spectacle, don't they? My own skin was a landscape of lumps and folds, my limbs heavy and misshapen. Every mirror was a confrontation. Every doorway is a challenge. To move through a world was to navigate a sea of stares and whispers. My body was a spectacle, something to be gawked at, pitied, or recoiled from. It rarely allowed for simple being.
Simple being, yes, that's what was lost. The ability to be seen as just Gregor, the traveling salesman, the son, the brother. All that was erased by the shell. Did they ever see past your exterior?
Sometimes. There were those with kindness in their hearts, curiosity beyond the grotesque. The surgeon, Dr. Travis, he saw a man beneath the deformities. Some offered friendship, a moment of genuine connection, but mostly it was the spectacle that defined me in their eyes.
A spectacle. I became one too. In my own room, hidden away, only glimpsed through a crack in the door, my sister. At first she tried, but even her kindness eventually wore thin, replaced by the burden of my presence. I ceased to be her brother and became the insect.
A heavy weight to bear, my friend, to be reduced to the physical form, stripped of the inner self by the gaze of others. But tell me, Gregor, within that insect shell, did the memories fade? The feelings, did they cease? Did the essence of Gregor Samsa truly vanish?
The echoes are the self, I believe. The residue of experience, of feeling. My own body, it was a landscape that drew stares, whispers, but within, the landscape of my mind was no different from any other. I read my books, I wrote my letters, I felt joy in a kind word. The cage was bone and skin, not the spirit within. Perhaps your shell held a similar captive. a captive perhaps. I tried to speak at first to tell them it was still me, but the sounds that came out, they weren't mine. They were skittering, hissing. The voice was lost with the body. Did that mean the me was lost too?
As did yours, surely. The soul, I believe, finds ways to persist. Through silence, through gesture, through thought.
But still you speak of grace, of finding meaning in the way they stared at you. You forgive them, the gawkers, the voyeurs. I was hidden away like rot beneath floorboards, and you almost thanked them for glancing with curiosity instead of contempt.
I do not thank them, Gregor, but I do not hate them either. Hatred, it poisons the one who holds it. It makes the walls higher, the silence louder. Even the smallest kindness was a crack in the dark.
There were no cracks in mine, only walls, only backs turned. My own sister shut my door for the last time and never looked back. If the world gives you nothing but suffering, how can you return anything but silence?
Because silence too is a choice. You chose to stop trying, Gregor. You say your voice became hisses and clicks, but did your soul not scream for someone to understand?
It did, and when no one listened, it felt quiet.
Then let it rise again, here in this place. Speak not for them, but for yourself.
There was a letter. I wrote it one night with effort and clumsy limbs. Ink blotched the page like wounds. It said only, I am still here. They never even read it. I tucked it under the door, dragged myself there with every ounce I had left, and it just stayed there. Days passed, not a glance, not a word. They stepped over it like it was filth, Joseph, like I was filth.
And yet, here you are, still speaking, still remembering. That letter, it wasn't just for them, Gregor. It was proof that you existed, that you still mattered. Even if they never read it, you wrote it.
Yes, I did. I suppose I had to.
The inability to speak with the tongue does not equate to the absence of a voice. Your thoughts, your memories, these are a form of language, Gregor. And in this place, perhaps the limitations of the physical form no longer apply. Here we can finally be heard for what we are, beyond the grotesque and the misunderstood.
Perhaps I was waiting for someone to hear that letter. Even now, part of me believes someone did, even if they never spoke of it.
Then let that be enough. You were not erased, Gregor. Not while memory endures, not while you still speak, here.
And you endured, not in spite of them, not for them, but for yourself.
We both did. We survived not as beasts or monsters, but as voices beneath our skin.
For those of you listening, for those who have ever felt like the other, even if they turn away, do not vanish. Even if they refuse to hear, do not stop speaking. Your voice may change, but it is still yours.
Perhaps you were never writing to them. Maybe you were writing to someone like us, someone who needed to know they weren't alone. And look at us, we're still here.
Yes, we are. I think that's all the time we have here, Joseph. Thank you for your time and advice.
And thank you, Gregor, for hearing me when no one else ever did. Thanks for tuning in to Under the Skin, where voices once silenced have spoken again. Tonight, Gregor Samsa and Joseph Merrick reminded us that even in isolation, our humanity does not disappear. Gregor, Joseph, thank you for your honesty, your courage, and for showing us that even when the world turns away, the self endures. We're grateful you joined us today beneath the surface. Until next time, keep listening, and remember, under the skin, you are still human.